I wanted to invite you to join our first ever virtual community running challenge. We're calling it the Summer Running Challenge. It starts July 14th and goes all the way through to August 11th, which is the end of the Olympics, the closing ceremony day. So that's easy to remember. And this is how it works. We're going to put a link in the show notes for this episode. Click on it, and then you can sign up for a mileage-based goal that you think you might be able to attain in that 28-day period. Or you can keep it open if you don't want the pressure of having to hit a certain number of miles. Sign up for it. We're going to send you a t-shirt, an exclusive Marathon Handbook t-shirt, which is quite nice. I've got one. They're pretty nicely designed. They're really nice. And you're also going to be entered in to win a slew of prizes. We're going to do like weekly mini prize packs. And then we've got one big grand prize package that includes Saucony Endorphin Speed 4 shoes. Shout out to Saucony for throwing those in there. And as well as Suunto Sonic headphones and a backpack, prize pack from KT Tape. I think getting another shirt as well. There's a whole bunch of stuff going to be in there. So we're also going to have a Strava group, so you can log your mileage really easily, and a Facebook group so we can have a little bit of community chatter as well. I know me and the rest of the gang at Marathon Handbook are also going to participate in this. So we'll share what we're doing, some tips and that sort of thing along the way. So this is for all ability levels. Doesn't really matter what you're going to hit in terms of your mileage goal. We just thought it would be fun to motivate the community to get out and keep running, especially during the dog days of summer. And we thought it'd be a fun thing to try. So again, you can find a link to join our challenge in the show notes, or go to our website, marathonhandbook.com, where you'll find a link, or just go to raceroster.com and search Summer RUNNIN Challenge. So running without the G, RUNNIN Challenge. All right. Look forward to seeing you there. And it's going to be a fun summer. Let's get to the show. All right. I'm joined by my colleagues, Alex Sear and Katelyn Tocci. Guys, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm excited about a treadmill.
Wahoo!
Wahoo!
Too much? Yeah.
No,
Wow.
I like it.
This
Very good.
This podcast is no. We're going to chat a little bit about gear because there's been some sort of wild and wacky gear stuff this week. So we thought we'd do a little quick roundup talking about gear, and we're going to talk about a treadmill first. And after that, we're going to get into the main topic of the pod, which is teasing Alex's forthcoming YouTube video entitled, Alex?
My 5 favorite early season workouts.
Right. So we're going to talk about workouts. We're going to talk about our favorite workouts, our most feared workouts we do to test our fitness, to know when we're ready for the big race, and weirdest workouts we've done, neatest places in the world where we've run workouts, and so on and so forth. But first, let's talk that gear. So Wahoo, which is a cycling company, has been a cycling company since they've been around about a little bit more than a decade. They're based in Atlanta. They have kind of like the best in class bike trainer. I've rode on the bike trainer many times. Brother-in-law owns one. They're pretty rad. Like, they're really good. And the Cadillac of bike trainers. And they announced in Boston this year, when Alex and I were there covering, that they were coming out with a treadmill. Okay, treadmills. How do you guys feel about treadmills? Let's be honest here.
God, it's so hard to do workouts on treadmills. I feel like it's eternal.
Yeah.
Eternal. Even if it's an easy run. A workout is actually a little easier because you're switching up the speed. But anything I do, it feels a million times harder on a treadmill.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, like so much harder.
Yeah, it's something about the stride. I don't know. Like, I can get on a treadmill and feel like I'm running quickly, but I'm nowhere near my actual workout pace.
Exactly.
I have like 2 moves. Easy run on the treadmill if I have to, and a progressive run on the treadmill if I have to do a workout. So basically, you park it at whatever, 7.5 miles an hour, and then you increase every couple minutes. Makes for a good progressive run, but like, that's it.
Yeah, you have to like engage your brain or it's just so torturous. Like even if you're binge watching old Seinfeld episodes or whatever, it's just like absolutely painful.
Michael, that is exactly what I'd be watching on the treadmill.
Totally. It's like an entire season of Seinfeld for a long run.
Totally.
Now, but this is exciting. We are in Boston and we are invited to go test a prototype of the Wahoo Kickr Run. And they promised that this treadmill is something totally different. I think the marketing was like, this is not a treadmill, sort of like the Magritte paintings or whatever. And so, Alex, we went there. You were the guinea pig. You jumped on the treadmill. We shot a bunch of videos. So like, spoiler alert or teaser, we're going to have a first impressions video coming out very soon on this exact product. But like, what was your impressions of it? Like why is it different, Alex?
Well, I guess the main thing, and this is their marketing, and I think it holds up. It's like you don't respond to the treadmill responds to you, right? So instead of getting on the treadmill, choosing a speed, and then running on it, like we usually do, the treadmill has sensors, like built-in sensors that will capture and understand how quickly you're running and then adapt its own pace to you. And that's optional. You can go the old-fashioned way. This way is called the run free mode. So basically you can turn it on or off. And then also it's pretty techie product. So you can do that and then look at a screen in front of you and it connects to this app called Zwift, which if you're a cyclist, you're probably familiar with, maybe less so if you're a runner. It creates a digital avatar of yourself running on a screen, making it harder when you go up hills, making it easier when you go down the hills, passing people depending on like your own pace and speed. You can race people from all over the world. It's pretty cool. I'd never tried Zwift before. And no, it was cool. The marketing too was that the treadmill could go in 4-minute mile pace.
Yeah.
Like the guy told me, it's like this on this treadmill, you can go 4 minutes per mile. And I was like, man, I can't even do that on land. So of course I had to try. And it was neat. I did a good workout on it. Yeah.
Everyone was gathered. Yeah. Everyone was gathered around Alex watching him slam down 4-minute mile pace. No, not for an entire mile, but like
you had fans.
Yeah. Well, I had to try the 4-minute mile pace. And I mean, I held it maybe 30 seconds sprinting on the treadmill. And, and yeah, it held up. It was cool. Like I'd never run that fast on a treadmill before.
Yeah. I'm genuinely excited by this product. I can't believe I'm saying that I'm excited about a treadmill. It's something that, I think the term dreadmill is well earned. I find treadmills are just torturous and I try to avoid them at all costs. But I think that this, like just watching you running on it, Alex, in Boston, and, hopefully we get another chance to do more in-depth testing on it in the near future. It's coming out this fall. It's about $5,000. That's a lot of money. And it's on pre-order right now. We're just like, we're selling it for them right now. But I think, I actually think this might be a revolutionary running product. Certainly for those of us living in extreme climates, like extreme north, like in Canada, or even Katelyn, in your case, Costa Rica. I mean, it's like when it's like 110 degrees in the summertime there, or do you guys even have a summer?
We do the summer, but it's going to sound kind of funny because the summer is actually the season that's a little easier to run in because it's drier. In the rainy season, I feel it gets a little more humid once like our prime summer months are over. But if it's raining a lot during the rainy season, is a really good time to have a treadmill because if you have to run in the afternoon and it's just like downpouring and thunder and lightning and you can't get out there, that would be a really good moment to have one of these treadmills or any treadmill. So yeah, we could definitely use it, especially a lot of my runners in the States these days are saying that the weather is just out of control.
Yeah.
The heat and humidity, one from California telling me it was 118 degrees where she was living. So she's having to do her running on a treadmill. And I'm sure a lot of people are to get them in and be safe these days. So
all three of us, we need to get 3 of these Kickr Run treadmills, and then we need to like start podding while running together, and we can all be running the same Zwift course at the same time.
Cool.
We can even hold hands. No.
I don't think we can do that.
There's a Zwift, like there's a feature you have to unlock where you can hold hands with the person next to you virtually. That'd be nice.
Well, you'll have to keep pace for that.
Shots fired.
I know you guys can count me out, but I'll be the one cleaning up the back. If there are any stragglers, I'll get them.
The sweeper.
The sweeper. Thank you. Yeah.
All right. So
Sweeper.
speaking of technological advancements, do you guys see that Tracksmith, the New England running brand, has released a timepiece?
That's not where I thought you were going when you said technological advancement. How is this a technological advancement?
Yeah. Should we be switching out our Garmin's and Apple Watches for the Tracksmith?
So a little bit of background for those of you listening who are like, Tracksmith released a watch? Yes. Timesmith. Time Lord. Tracksmith released this week. They dropped a super limited edition watch. They call it a running watch. What's the language?
No, they say
Sorry.
we didn't want to make another running watch. We made a watch for runners.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's a timepiece.
It's a timepiece.
Time.
It's literally called the Tracksmith timepiece. It's a collaboration with a French brand, Merci, and this company that sells vintage watches called Wind Vintage. I wasn't sure if it was Wind. See what they could have done there. It's actually Wind. The guy who created the company, his last name's Wind. They sell you can buy a $350,000 Rolex on their site. So it's a collaboration between these three high-end brands. It's a limited numbered edition watch. I believe there were 100 available, $700-ish US. Sold out, guys. Can't buy one.
That's crazy. Is the Merci brand the same one that makes the chocolate?
Don't think so.
Okay.
They make little cashmere beanies and that sort of thing. Yeah, like $70 tote bags, that sort of stuff.
So even if someone wanted one, it's over.
It's over.
They're sold out. It's over. We can't do. Okay.
This watch, okay. I want to love Tracksmith all the time because they're trying to do something different. I think there's a place for a more expensive product out there in the marketplace. Let's not kid ourselves. Many runners have deep pockets. Some of Tracksmith stuff, some of it looks good. And when you talk to the Tracksmith people, like Alex and I, when we were in Boston, we had this amazing conversation with their shoe designer. And he was a great guy. And it was a really insightful conversation. He knew a lot about shoes, and it makes you want to believe in what they're doing. And then they do shit like this. And it's okay, it's a analog watch with a calfskin leather strap. It's waterproof, guys.
It's water resistant.
Sorry, water resistant.
Well, not swim with it.
Don't swim with it, but
Don't
you
swim
can
with
sweat on it, except I'm not really sure how the calfskin band is going to hold up to sweat.
Could Katelyn wear it throughout a podcast, sweating in her shack over there, and still have the watch work at the end?
Can Katelyn wear it
TBD.
at any time during the day? Thanks for sharing that it's warm.
Well, it's what, 100
very
degrees
warm.
plus. They'll hold it against you.
Let me explain a moment. I need to do a little side note here. It's because the air conditioner is too loud. so I do have to, we're doing the videos. That's why it's a little warm.
It's a workplace violation. That's right.
It's a workplace. Exactly. The noise is too loud on the AC to put it on right now. So that's why. But yeah, we could give it a try. I think Tracksmith should make one more and send it to me, and I will be the tester for the water resistance.
Number 101 goes to Katelyn of the 100. This watch is ridiculous. It's a watch. It's got three arms to it. 3 hands to it. 3 arms. I called them arms. Hands. 3 hands to the watch. So it tells seconds. Great. There's nothing runnery about this watch at all. Have you guys ever tried to do a workout using an analog watch before?
Yes.
Really?
And then I learned what Garmin was in 2010. But I think they're trying to draw on that romantic period of running where coaches had stopwatches. So you kind of have your own stopwatch and you try to do 400 meters in 60 seconds and start at the 12 and finish at the 12. Maybe that's what they're playing. Otherwise, I think they crossed the line. I think Tracksmith so far was in this category with Lululemon and these upscale good fabric clothing that's a little bit, that's sold at a higher price point because the quality's a bit better. Maybe disregard the Elliott runner that we talked about last week that to me missed the mark, but their clothing was good. This is more Balenciaga than Lululemon to me. They're really relying on their name. They're not giving much to the consumer. I don't think Tracksmith is there yet in the world of running or elsewhere. I'm surprised that this thing sold out. I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't go for it. I don't know. It missed the mark for me.
There's 100 fools out there.
Was that the run? 100 watches? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, of course it's sold out.
There you go.
Well, that's such a small run. Yeah. No,
it is really nice looking, though. I have to be honest. I understand it wouldn't work for my running, but I have to say it's nice looking.
It's a great looking watch. I mean, listen, like if somebody gave me this watch as a gift, first, maybe not a Tracksmith version of this watch, because if it was a Tracksmith version of this watch, you'd be like, oh, you gave me a running watch that's not a running watch. Cool, thanks. But like if this was like, I don't know, if they gave me an old Seiko watch that's like analog watch, it's kind of a cool gift. It looks nice. Yeah, it's like it's got that kind of like that sort of Brooks Brothers preppy kind of aesthetic to it.
Exactly, the preppy look.
But this is the running watch. This is the running watch. This is the watch you put on after you're done running, and you've got to like, I don't know, you're going out to see some friends or for a dinner or whatever, or you don't like wearing a Garmin for whatever reason. Like,
right?
Yeah. All right, watch this segue, guys. Unlike the Tracksmith running watch, which is not at all a running watch, it's just calling itself a running watch, or a watch for runners, rather. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. On the Swiss brand has maybe revolutionized the running shoe this week. Did you guys watch this video that they dropped on YouTube and kind of did the rounds in all media? We did a story on it. I think every media outlet did a story on it. They did a really good job getting the reach out there.
Yeah.
Where a robotic arm at their innovation lab in Switzerland, a robotic arm is trained to use a glue gun, and it basically it's almost like it's shooting like spiderweb Spider-Man style, and it's creating a shoe in under 6 minutes by basically shooting glue at a foot-shaped last, like a model foot, and it creates a super shoe in under 6 minutes. This is insane. Mm-hmm. Absolutely insane.
Yeah. I think at this point in the running world, we're trained to look for gimmicks and discount them because there have been so many. But this one caught my attention for a couple of reasons. One, it has the specs of a super shoe. It's 6 ounces, which is very light, lighter than all your Vaporflies, your Alphaflies, all of them. And then 2, it's proven, right? I think On did a good job because they gave it to Helen Obiri. She went, ran Boston in this shoe, won the race, and now they release it and can say, listen, this is tried and true. So as weird as it is, it's legit.
Yeah,
this was interesting watching an interview with Helen Obiri and also the creators of the shoe just sweating it out when they gave it to her to run the marathon. And they said that when they gave her the shoe, she looked at the shoe and she's like, I'm not wearing that. Like her first response was, no way.
Well, I mean,
there are no
laces.
Yeah, exactly. No laces. I'm not wearing that. And I can't blame her. And I'm glad that she took the chance when the company must be psyched she took the chance, but they were definitely sweating during that marathon.
Yeah, I mean, this one kind of snuck by us as well. I remember, Alex, you and I talked about what was on her feet when she crossed the finish line in Boston, because in particular, like we're shoe nerds and we're always interested in what's on everyone's feet, especially when it comes to super shoes, especially in this era where like a company has to declare in advance that the shoe exists. And if it's a prototype, they have to release a limited number of pairs and they have to send the name of the shoe to World Athletics so it can get on a list. And somehow this shoe sort of snuck by me. We saw it in Boston and she ran like a crazy last closing couple of miles. She ran like a 4:20 something mile, I think, to close the marathon and win. It was extraordinary. So obviously the shoe's like
It's good.
It's good. It's good. They're good.
It's good too.
Yeah. They're not falling off her feet. That's for sure. Especially that's, I think, the concern when the shoe doesn't have laces, right? You can't kind of tighten it up. But this is kind of neat. Like the creators of this shoe were saying that, first of all, it reduced their carbon footprint and creating an upper by like 75%, which you see this kind of like a tactic of talking about climate change and about reducing carbon footprint as kind of a marketing gimmick these days. And I'm kind of becoming cynical about it, but in this case, you can see that you're watching the shoe being spun into existence over the course of a few minutes. And you can see how efficient this thing is, right? Versus the old way of doing things, which is like basically cutting out an upper out of a larger fabric swatch and then chucking the rest of it away. Even recycling it, I mean, that just takes a lot of time. It has a carbon footprint to have to recycle something, right? So you can see how there's the efficiencies here, the time, the automation factor, but then also what On is hitting upon is they're like, we see a future where this technology is maybe localized or at least regionalized, and like your foot can get scanned and we can produce a shoe specifically for you, for your foot. That's like perfect for your foot, which is very, very cool.
Yeah. Also a more humane way of making shoes. You don't want to know where the shoes that you're wearing right now are made, likely, right? We're relying on sweatshops all over the world. Imagine if in every big city or even in every running store, eventually there is this robot arm that makes shoes right in front of you. Much more humane way to put things on your feet. And also, I think that's where the future is going. Just side note, people will have shoes that are very specific to them and not just guess between a bunch of companies. So now this is neat. This might actually just be a prelude to the future of buying running shoes. And I think I'm going to get to try a pair. I'm very excited to try them.
Lucky.
We'll see. Nothing's confirmed yet. So
he's working
here's
on
my plea to On once again
cool.
on this podcast.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can see Mr. Alex Sear test out. It's called the
Lace up the shoe. Wait, no.
Nope. Hold on.
Put the shoes. It's called the No, I got that wrong. Cloud Boom Strike LS for light spray. There we go.
I think you should take these shoes, get your Wahoo 4-minute mile on the treadmill.
Oh,
do you think it'll happen?
Yeah.
Genius.
That is with the Tracksmith watch.
Oh my God.
You can time your 4-minute mile with the same watch Roger Bannister wore when he first broke the record.
What do you need to run a 4-minute mile? Just $10,000 of gear and a can-do attitude.
And a can-do attitude.
I like that. There we go. That is the experiment.
So there's going to be On has said that there will be limited pairs available coming this fall in the lead up to the New York City Marathon. And who won the New York City Marathon last year?
Helen O'Beary?
That's right. So
Interesting.
Maybe there's some hype leading up to the New York City Marathon this year, and she's probably going to be back. So that's cool. I mean, that's a nice fit. So there we go. All right, guys, let's take a break, and then we're going to get right into our favorite workouts, our most feared workouts, our best ever workout experiences, our workout failures. We're going to talk all about workouts right after this. All right, and we're back. A key feature of any running plan is the workout. So, Alex, we're doing this on the occasion of your forthcoming YouTube video, which is entitled Your 5 Favorite Early Season Workouts, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
All right, give us a teaser here. Give us one of the workouts that you've got in that top 5.
Ooh, okay. I won't give you my top one.
Okay.
I'll give you like I think it's number 3.
Okay.
So there's this workout I learned to do in college early in the season. And college is the time when you're super hung up on pace and you're competing with yourself from last year and other people. I liked this workout because it prevented you from doing any of that because it's so obscure that you can't really tell how fast you're going. It's just a crazy fartlek. you start running hard for 30 seconds, and then you match that time with easy running. So 30 seconds hard, 30 seconds easy. And you repeat that sequence. So 45 seconds hard, 45 seconds easy. 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy. You go all the way up to 90 seconds, and that's the first half of the pyramid, and then you go back down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So in the end, you get just over 10 minutes of hard running, which isn't all that much. So it's manageable for early in the season. The easy running parts should be done at like normal easy running pace. If you shuffle, you kind of defeat the purpose. It is meant to be a workout to build up your aerobic system. And also the hard parts are not meant to be done at full speed. It's like early season speed. So call it, 50% speed, then 90% speed, 50% speed, maybe 85% speed.
Okay.
And it's tough. It's a lot tougher than you think. And I think that's just a characteristic of fartleks, because you're never actually completing a full kilometer of running hard. You don't get any sexy splits. So you just think, well, all right, this is an easy workout. And every time I've done it, I've hurt a lot. And you it's a stinger to build your fitness early on.
Yeah, it doesn't sound easy because the rests just fly by. Those are some short rests.
And you're never fully resting, right?
Right.
That's the issue. Right. You never quite recover as much as you think you would.
Okay. I like this. I'm like going to write all these down. I need some new stuff.
Get the pen and paper out.
Exactly.
The thing you don't get from this workout, though, you don't get much mileage. So, Katelyn, you're becoming a mileage hog. I don't know if this would fit into your current training plan.
I just have to warm up for half an hour and cool down for half an hour or something like that.
Yeah, like what's the ultra version of this? Like you do like
30 minutes hard, 30 minutes easy, 45 minutes hard.
That's right. You do a 10-hour run. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm actually doing a very similar workout tonight to that one. I'm doing 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, 30 times.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I've done that one before. Yeah. Also
nasty.
Hard.
Yeah. These short, the short speed set, like short speed, short rest sounds easy until you realize that the rest is too short.
Yeah. Until you're doing it.
Yeah. How about you, Katelyn?
Okay, mine is a completely different there. There's one that we put together a couple of years ago, or I think last year. It's called the Double Pump Hills. And
cool
name. My husband's really good at putting together these like cool names for the workouts that he makes up. So I think this is good for trail runners, but also road runners as well, because you can just choose what kind of hill you want to do it on, whether it's super steep or a trail or not so steep. So what you do is you got to warm up, so you warm up for like 20 minutes flat running. And then you do 10 times 30 seconds hard uphill. So now we're saying hard, like probably a little harder than because you guys are floating in the rests for the ones that you mentioned, like you're still running pretty hard, So 30 seconds hard uphill. Stop completely for 30 seconds and then 30 seconds really hard uphill again. So just really giving that super sprint twice. So that's why you got the double pump. So 30 seconds super hard, stop in your tracks, continue going up the hill, 30 seconds super hard, jog back down to the start point and again, and do it about 10 times. Yeah.
That is brutal. So you need like a 60-second equivalent hill of like if you ran all out for 60 seconds, that's the length of the hill.
Exactly. Yep.
And how long is the rest between, like in the middle, the standing rest?
It's 30 seconds.
Okay, right.
Yep, 30. Yeah, sorry if I didn't mention that. 30, and then try to just jog back down
10
as slowly
times
as you can. You could walk if you wanted to. I mean, you can also try it if someone is listening and wants to try it out and you're new to this kind of work, you could try and just do 4, do 5 and then try to, build up as you go. Maybe take 4 weeks, try to do it for 4 weeks and start with 4 and then add a rep each week and see how it goes.
I don't do standing rest very often. Like I know a lot of like shorter and middle distance runners do standing rest. I haven't often done workouts where I, like say like hard 200s and then you just do standing rest. I've seen other people doing this over the years at tracks, but like I don't really ever, I usually do sort of like active recovery or just jog recovery. But like, that's brutal. That sounds awful. Katelyn, like your husband is
with me.
Yeah, it's disturbing.
We could modify it for you, Michael, and you could continue to walk up the hill for the 30 seconds
if
you don't want to stop. Yeah, you could do that. That would work.
I do hill sessions on a pretty steep, long grindy hill here in Toronto called Pottery Road Hill. So the few people from Toronto listening will be like nodding along. Yes, I know that hill. It's sort of a notorious workout hill for runners, and cyclists love to bomb down it as well. And at the very top of the hill is a Dairy Queen, like a ice cream shop. And the joke is always just that I'm just going to bail at some point in one of these hill repeats and just end up in the Dairy Queen ordering myself a.
Have you done this?
I've never done it.
Blizzard mid-workout?
That's right. Yeah.
A blizzard. Yum.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Like 4 hills, ice cream, Sunday, banana split, blizzard, and then back down 4 more hills. That's a good.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I love including milk, dairy products in my workouts.
And a lot of it.
Yeah, it really strengthens the stomach.
Yeah. Actually a workout that I did many years ago in a group setting. So you need 5 or 6 people that are around the same ability level as you. And it's come to mind as like a really fun and engaging way to do a workout. And it's something that I've incorporated with the kids that I coach at my son's elementary school. Coach the track and cross teams with the elementary school.
A bit of information.
Yeah. And
30 times by 400?
We do the once a runner workout. We go 60 times 400,
Nice. Start them young. Good.
Yeah. Just, 30 seconds jog rest in between. Got to keep the volume up, No, we do
Katelyn
like
vigorously shaking her head.
Like, no.
We do a version of a workout that I found reading about the history of cross-country running and how it came from like these various basically grammar schools and public schools would have like a running team, and they would compete with each other and compete with other schools. And it used to be like there's a paper chase where you had to chase down somebody who had carrying a note, piece of paper. I'm butchering the Wikipedia article I read 5 years ago on this, but basically the workout that I came up with was sort of a version of one of these late 19th century, early 20th century games that these school kids would play, and that eventually created cross country, which is say you got 6 kids in a group and they're all sort of at the same ability level. You give them each a number, and then you start all running together. And the rule is you've got to start together and end together, so that it kind of even if the group sort of starts to split apart, everyone has to kind of come back together and work as a team. And each kid is allowed to surge between 10 and 30 seconds, or a full lap, or anything under a full lap. And basically you just call the number out at random, and then whatever kid kind of goes to the front and pushes to the front and runs kind of the pace that they kind of want to run. They get to lead for say 30 seconds or a lap, and they get to throw down whatever pace they think they can handle. And then it's like a game, right? Because you're I don't want to go too hard, because if I go super hard and someone else decides they're going to go even harder, am I going to be able to survive this? So there's a little weird sort of tactical element to it. It sounds very convoluted, but once you get it going, it's quite a bit of fun. It's basically just creating a game, turning a workout into a game. So
it's super cool, because last weekend when we went on our long run with the running club, we randomly, I just said to the group of 6 or 8 that we were running with, I said, okay guys, get in a single file line. So we did that single file line where the person at the back then had to run up to the front, and then the person at the back then had to run up to the front. And we did it in this flat section and then this downhill, and we got to the uphill, and they were like, we don't want to do it anymore, Coach Kate. I was like, okay. I guess the game is over.
Yikes. But, okay, never mind.
But it was similar. It was similar to that, and it was super fun. Well, I thought it was fun. I don't think they thought it was very fun.
A couple of years ago, when myself and my 2 closest training partners, we were training for Chicago. All 3 of us were right around the same ability level and the same fitness, and we trained together on the same program for the entire season. And we're getting late into the season, and we're doing mile repeats, and we go to the track, And what we did is we each took a turn pacing a mile. And the goal was to hit the lap split within 1 second of
Wow.
what you're trying to hit.
That's a slim margin.
Yeah. And if anybody fell off, they lost the privilege of being able to, because I think we did, I forget how many, it was like 6 times a mile, and we each had 2 opportunities to pace out the mile. And if you were more than a second off, you were like, it was like maybe 2 seconds off. Like it was like basically like a window of a few seconds. Basically, no one's allowed to clown around or push the pace, and you lose your pacing privilege the second time around if you don't nail it. So I thought that was actually a really smart way of doing things, because we all, the focus became not showing off or fading from the front or sandbagging it. The focus became hitting the number. And then we were kind of like celebrating it when we did it, you know, like you do like the second lap, the 800 split of your mile, and you'd look at your watch and you'd have like a 70 whatever, and you'd be like perfect, and then like, okay, good job, keep going, you know, like, so it was a really good exercise in being disciplined and being even and just kind of feeling that pace. I thought that was actually a really smart way of doing things.
Cool strategy.
Yeah, it's like gamifying workouts.
Yeah.
I remember, I think one of my favorite workouts to ever do was something like that, but it was a little bit more competitive. So you'd have a bunch of guys at the track. We did this once in college, and the idea was the last person to finish every lap would be eliminated until there would only be one person left. And so that becomes very strategic. It's like a race. No one can choose to take it out. You might all go really slowly and kick at the end. Or, and this is what usually happens, someone does take it out and they get way ahead, 100, 200 meters ahead of everybody else to safeguard themselves for a while. But then eventually the rest of the pack catches up. It's like choose your own adventure. And I thought it was really cool because not only does it get you fitter because it's a lot of pace changes, it simulates a race. It's something to do a bit later in the season.
That's smart. I like that. I've heard of other university teams, like college teams, doing that over the years. That must be a very common, like a trick of the trade for a varsity running coach to employ that. That's a good one. Although like a game of attrition and very ruthless as well at the same time. So have you guys ever done any of the famous workouts? We've talked in the past on a pod about the Mona workout, the Monaghetti workout, which is another version of a fartlek workout that I find really brutal, really hard, but also a really good fitness test. You guys ever do a Mona before?
I haven't. No.
Okay, so just really quickly, it's 2 times 90 seconds on, 90 seconds off. So on being, you can choose what that means for you. It can be like, I think typically it's more like around 10K, your 10K goal pace. And then the off is supposed to be not easy. It's supposed to be float, which just means you're supposed to apply a bit of pressure. You're trying to stay in a kind of a more upright aerobic. You're not just dragging your feet along and trying to catch your breath. So it's 90 seconds on, 90 seconds off twice. And then you go 4 times, 60 seconds on, 60 seconds off, 4 times, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, and then 4 times 15 seconds on, 15 seconds off. Just absolutely brutal, but tough. A really good fitness test.
Yeah, it sounds tough.
And then the Yasso 800s. Either of you ever try the Yasso 800s?
No, and apparently neither has he, right? Wasn't there a thing that came up?
Yeah.
Bart Yasso realized, like, what? This workout's based on my trip. I've never done this thing.
He may not publicly admit to this, but I sat for an entire day with him in Vancouver at the expo for the Vancouver Marathon several years ago. And he admitted to me at one point, he's like, I am most well known for this workout, and I did not invent that workout. I did not do that workout. Although it's a cool thing to be known for. So the conceit of that one is you do 10 times 800 meter repeats on a track, and your number time for each 800, if you do them evenly, is like a predictor for your marathon. So,
and that's also your rest time, right?
I believe so. Yes, I think
Oh,
it's
you
equal.
rest equal to what you ran. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
it's a complete rest?
Believe so.
You jog. I think.
Let's ask
Oh,
Bart.
you jog.
Or if you
Let's
could ask
talk.
Bart, you'd be like, I have
Yeah.
no idea. I don't know. You make it up. You can call them the
800.
Sear 800s.
Sure.
800s
I'll
are
at least do them once.
Yeah.
If I can get the
Least
name.
favorites.
I think it is equal rest, and I think what it
Okay.
is, the idea is you run it on a track, 800, obviously 2 laps on the track, a 400-meter track, and then you take say you're trying to break 3 hours in a marathon, and you want to try to do the 3-minute 800s evenly 10 times. You run 3 minutes easy rest over the course of just 1 lap, so you
Right.
just
Okay.
jog
That
it
makes
in
sense.
between. So that would work out, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And if you can do that in a balanced way, the theory is that this is a golden predictor late in the season for what your marathon time will be, although I think it's complete BS. But it's a neat workout, and it's I think a really good sort of lactate threshold workout to employ.
Sounds really painful.
And then, of course, the aforementioned Once a Runner workout, which is the novel Once a Runner. The main character, Quentin Cassidy, goes out and runs a 400 workout, and he does how many 400s?
He starts with 20, right? He starts
Yeah.
with 20, and that's the initial workout. And then his coach comes out, Bruce Denton, and makes him do another 20. It's like one more until he gets to 40
Okay.
by 400. And then there's more. I think he ends up doing 60. I need to reread. This book is right behind me on the shelf. I need to reread it, but something tells me he does 60 at the end.
Please don't do this at home, folks. Please.
That's like if it's equal rest, because it would be equal. I mean, that's like he's running like an ultra.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
On the
the whole book is based around he's preparing for like a mile race. Or like 50K.
Again, a fictional character.
Yeah.
Okay. And runs 50K or whatever it is.
I feel like every few years there's a letsrun.com thread about that workout and about whether or not some young fool tries to do the Quentin Cassidy 400 repeats. Absolute insanity. Weirdest or most glorious place you've ever done a workout. We've all had to travel for work or for pleasure, and you find yourself on vacation in some lovely place, and then you end up running a strange workout in an amazing part of the world, or just like a total wacko spot where you're like being that insane A-type runner, and you're like, I can't possibly miss this workout. I'm going to, for example, run on the one treadmill on a cruise ship in order to get my workout in, which I did once.
I would go with the former, had I not already dished a couple podcasts ago, a run at 4 a.m. in the brightness of Reykjavik's long days a couple months ago.
Yeah,
so
that's a cool one.
It was a good one, but I won't go back into that one. I'll go with the latter and go full psycho mode. So my father is from northern New Brunswick, which is like, to the Americans, I don't know, Connecticut without people, I guess. And
it's like Maine. It's Maine.
well, it's right next to Maine. My dad was born 20 minutes away from Maine, so I'm almost an American. But over there, when it's the winter hits hard, and there aren't many places to go running, so we'd usually do indoor runs. One year, there were 3 storms in a row. We couldn't go anywhere, and I had a long run to do. And so I just left the house, and they live right by the highway. So I ran 40 minutes out on the side of the highway in negative 10 degrees Celsius. Katelyn, let's have a Fahrenheit conversion.
She's like, I have no idea.
No, I'm
It's
the one
cold.
I'm not good with.
Yeah.
It's very cold.
Cold. Deep winter, let's say.
Yeah, let's say 20 Fahrenheit.
Okay,
maybe.
deep winter,
Don't quote me on
snowing,
that.
can barely see anything. And I get to my 40-minute mark, and I turn around, and it's a long run, so I'm going nice and easy. And I turn around, and I realized that the nuts that I had eaten earlier in the day, to which I'm allergic, were causing a delayed allergic reaction. I was developing hives on my body everywhere. And this long run on the side of the road in God knows where, New Brunswick, became a progressive run very quickly with 2 gears. And I think I ripped the fastest 10K in the middle of a storm back home. Chugged some Benadryl, went in the shower, and yeah.
He's alive to tell the story. I thought that you started talking about a bag of nuts, and I thought you were going a totally different direction with that one. I was like,
where did you think I was going?
I thought you were going poop with that one, but
ooh, no.
Are
you kept it clean.
Back to that again?
No, we're not talking poop.
Not today.
Not
today, guys. Come on.
Although it's a key feature of many aborted or failed workouts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Katelyn, you live in Fantasyland. You could regale us with tales of running in the jungle. I imagine every single run you do is like a scene from Indiana Jones. I'm imagining like spiders' webs, boulders rolling after you, vines you must swing over.
I do have a
Nazis.
very cool.
But
what?
Indiana Jones, guys, come on.
Okay. I think, I have a very Indiana Jones moment. Unfortunately, it was a race instead of a workout, but I feel like I'm going to tell it anyway. So running this race, but it felt like a workout because at this moment I was alone on a trail in this place called Hacienda Pinilla, which is very close to the coast. But like Michael's saying, even though they're close to the coast, it's very jungly. So I'm in there. It's super early in the morning. It's an ultra run, starting out on the course. And my friends are going to make fun of me because I talk about it all the time. And they always make fun of me that I tell this story. And a black jaguar.
Cool. I mean, scary, but cool.
No, it was the coolest thing I've ever seen on a run. Just jumps from nowhere's land, from the jungle, and just pounces and just jumps across. And I see him just in full-fledged jumping mode to the other side and crosses my path about 2 meters in front of me. And I was like, and so it did turn into a workout because like Alex said, I'm starting an ultra and I ran as fast as I could. First, I was frozen and I watched and I looked behind me and I said, please let there be someone who saw that, someone else who saw that. And I was alone. And I swear I ran as hard as I could to that next aid station. My heart rate was like in the 180s because first I was scared. And second, I didn't know if it was going to come after me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's your cat knowledge? Like I understand that cheetahs are pretty docile, but leopards are more likely to attack humans. Where do jaguars fit?
They told me because I actually didn't know what it was. What I did is I took like a mental picture of it because it was like black and gray and spotted and the size and the very square jaw. So when I got to the aid station, I mentioned to them because the photographer, a very famous photographer here, was at that aid station. And I said, hey, you've got to go check this out. I just saw an animal and it looked like this. And I know it's a cat, but I'm not sure exactly what kind of cat. And they said, you saw a black jaguar. And people come here and they camp out in this jungle and they wait to get a sighting of that jaguar. So I wasn't that familiar with it. I didn't know what it was at the time, but they said that I probably startled the jaguar, and that's why he crossed my path. So
yikes.
It was amazing, and I know I kind of like went beyond, like, not quite a workout, but I did a workout after I saw an animal because I was so scared.
You throw down like your 5K personal best running from a jaguar. Oh my God. Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's both amazing and terrifying. I think I would think I'd shit my pants there with that one.
Again, back to poop. Yeah.
We did it. We got back. Now, that's wild. Yeah, that is wild. That I don't know. I can't see your jaguar and raise you a what's more majestic and terrifying than a jaguar? Like a Bengal tiger? Like
Michael had a story lined up about the blizzard that he ate on top of the hill. That's
right. That's my moment of eating ice cream halfway through a race or a workout. I've done some neat and weird ones before. I think we've all at some point found ourselves in a very isolated area, at least I have, where like you've gone camping or you're on an island, you're staying at a cottage or something like that, and you're having to run around like a 200 or 300 meter loop over and over again, trying to get a workout in. I've definitely done it. I did it on a campsite like 10 or 12 years ago. I was like, I cannot miss this workout. I'm going to run mile repeats in like a 250-meter trail loop around an island campsite in rural Ontario. I've definitely done that. I did the vertical mile in Chamonix in France, which is crazy and heart-stopping and beautiful and terrifying because no one told me the last 100 or so meters is like basic mountain climbing, mountaineering, like vertical, like you're like holding on to stuff and going up, and then you look back and you're like, I'm going up the end of a mountain here. But that's what it is. And that was cool. And then you run the switchback all the way back down afterwards, and it's absolutely wild and very fast. Yeah, we've done so. If you've run for any length of time, you find yourself running in the weirdest environments. I've got friends I've run in airports before, weird treadmill workouts in weird parts of the world, all that kind of thing. So yeah, Alex, I don't know about you, but like being Canadian, there's moments where you're out, like what you described there with the being in a snowstorm. It's like, there's moments where you're out there and you're trying to get a workout or a long run in, and you're like, what am I doing right now? This is insane. You know?
Yeah. The worst is when you have a hard workout to do and you can't do it outside because you could maybe pull off an easy run, but the footing and the weather is just too bad for a workout. And then you have to resort to the treadmill. Oh, and here we're back with Wahoo. And the treadmill doesn't go quickly enough, or it's too boring, or whatever it is, or they're all taken by people. That's why you buy the Wahoo treadmill. Anyway. Oh God. Yeah. No, we've had those rough weeks where outdoors or indoors doesn't seem to work.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap it up with workouts you fear the most, and or like kind of a workout that maybe you fear, but you also know is the kind of proving ground for when you're fit. Like one of these, probably a workout you're doing late in the season. It could be a workout you're doing in the beginning of the season because you're terrified to do it because you know you're out of shape, and it's kind of like one of these rust buster type workouts, or something that's like late in the season that's like a way for you to get feedback about where you're really at when you're trying to like set a goal.
Well, I've been in 10K mode for the last few years. And so I have my regular 10K tune-up workout. And there are two versions to it, the Canadian and the American version. I've done both. 8 times 1 kilometer is the Canadian version. 90 seconds of rest in between each kilometer. And you run a 10K pace or slightly faster. The American version is 5 by a mile with 2.5 minutes of rest. That one I would keep the 10K pace. And it's the decider. I've come to fear it, I think, because there's a precedent in it. I do it once a season, so I know what's a good workout for me and what's not. And so it feels like I enter that workout with stakes. It's like the opposite of those crazy fartlek workouts where you have no expectations and no way of measuring whether or not you had a good day. This one's very measured. So yeah, it's the one I fear, but also one that I could not do a season without.
That sounds brutal.
The running a 10K in your workout with just 90 seconds rest between each kilometer is both a really robust, nasty workout, and also just sounds very painful.
Well, you do 8.
Oh, you do 8. Okay.
8K or 5 by a mile. So you don't end up hitting the full distance. Though, and those last 2 kilometers will make a difference.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that sounds brutal. I mean, when Michael was mentioning the 800s, God, any of those workouts, they're really, really tough on me. But I'm thinking about one in particular, a different one. We have a workout that we do here. We call it the Turbo, and another name. It's called the Turbo, and it is a 1.4 kilometer uphill route. It's a trail, and we use it. So it's almost a mile, just about a mile. So we use it as like a test once a year with the running club to kind of like see how our climbing skills are. And, it's got Strava segment. We're always trying to like get those times down or beat whoever has the first places and all of that. And so it's got 300 meters of vertical gain in 1.4 kilometers. Yeah, it is brutal. So obviously and the average incline is about 20
Oh.
1.4%. Yeah, that's the average incline. So you're basically you run when you can, but if you can hike faster, you hike. So it's also very strategic because you've got to say, well, if I'm going to hike faster than I'm running, then I've got to switch to hike mode. So it's kind of like a back and forth of running, hiking, running, power hiking, and just like absolutely cannot breathe for that chunk of time. And that's probably like the most brutal workout we do. And luckily we only do it about once a year, and we bring the team and everybody tries, takes a stab at it. So it's really hard. And then we just like jog back down another way, like on the road. Very hard.
20. That's an awful grade.
It's awful.
That's not. It's
Why
not very
do we
nice.
do this again? I hear so many times we've been like, "That's brutal. That's awful." And then you're like, "Oh yeah, I guess we just like to suffer."
Yeah, I guess this is the name of the game, right?
Yeah.
It's especially when you're talking workouts. Although both Alex and I are. What do we do, Alex, when we're invited down to Costa Rica for like a running training camp with Katelyn? We just.
We're going.
We bring our ice packs.
Yeah. Man. I'm going to bring my spare set of legs. For me, one that comes to mind that I've done over the years, it's almost become like within my circle of running friends, like a joke almost it's not a joke, but at the end of the season, before we run our goal marathon, 10 days before the race, we go out and it's like a total prep run. We do 10K of marathon pace straight up. We do a few K to warm up, 10K of marathon pace, then like a couple of K to kind of bring the heart rate back down a bit, and shut it down. It's probably usually 14 to 16 kilometers of total running, but with that core 10K being the feature, being the workout. It's the last workout of the season, and it's like a dress rehearsal. Like, you're encouraged to wear the outfit, wear the shoes, the whole bit. And it's kind of funny, and we all, you show up and these days you're wearing super shoes and you're wearing the singlet you're going to race in and that sort of thing. And the shorts that your favorite racing shorts. Some of the guys over the years have even like trying to choke down a gel 5K in just to kind of create some sense of, even though you'd never take a gel 5K into a race, a marathon, I don't think, but it's become a parody because it's very nerve-wracking because I have run really well and felt amazing and ran the pace very comfortably, and then the marathon itself didn't feel as comfortable or amazing. I have run the 10K and it felt like absolute hot garbage, and I was like, I'm totally effed for this race, and then went and ran a PB in the marathon. So it's actually, in fact, a terrible indicator in many respects because it doesn't really indicate anything. So we almost go into it as like a rite of passage or this like ridiculous parody of an indicator that we do, I guess, just out of like nostalgia for having done this so many times. Like, I don't know how many of these 10K prep runs 10 days before the marathon I've done in my life, but like quite a few now. And I will continue to do them until I stop running marathons with any sort of serious level of focus. But I just find it really funny going out and doing this. It's also a scenario where, like, because it's marathon pace, it allows you to lie to yourself too, where you're just like huffing and puffing. Maybe you take a little quick glance at your watch and you see, oh, my heart rate's a little higher than I'd like it to be. And nevertheless, you carry on because you really want to believe that you can run that pace. I mean, it's a gong show, but it's something that we do. It's an odd thing to do, but it's part of
tradition.
It's part of the ritual. It's part of the ritual.
Exactly.
Yeah. And probably gets you in a good psychological groove. It's like a psychological warm up for the race. A marathon is different from a 1500, right? You probably haven't really lined up on a start line and started running at marathon pace for 4 or 5, 6 months. I'm of a fan of that. I think that's pretty cool. So then you get to the start line, 10 days afterwards? and you're prepared in a way. You kind of know what the first little while is going to feel like. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, there you go. You can, Alex, when you join the brother and sisterhood of marathon running, you can steal that workout.
I'll hit you up in 15 years.
Oh my God.
All right, guys, that's it for workouts. That's it for this week. Our summer RUNNIN challenge, which we've got going on, our first ever virtual running challenge, it's happening right now. Got a whole bunch of people participating. Log in the miles, and it's not too late to sign up. Go to our website. You can sign up for it, or subscribe to our newsletter. You can get information about it every day as well. And hey, 160,000 other runners can't be wrong. Subscribe to our newsletter. It's great stuff. Give us a like and a rating for this podcast, wherever you're listening to the podcast. Deeply appreciated. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Alex here is cranking out the hits. We've got his top 5 early season workouts video coming up. We've got his first look video at that Wahoo Kickr Run treadmill, shoe reviews, some amazing stuff coming up. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. Talk to you next week.